Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me today because we're going to do something a little different, and honestly, I think it's pretty fascinating. We're going to dive into a microanalysis of the light-dependent sensor reaction. Now, as a teacher, I absolutely love this kind of exercise. It proves that you don't need some massive, complicated textbook to understand profound scientific principles, like how a light-dependent resistor, or LDR, actually works. We're going to meticulously unpack a real-time observation of a sensor interacting with its environment. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to completely grasp the working principles at play here. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, so here is our source material in its entirety. Read this quote along with me. The ambient light seems optimal today. Let's see how the sensor responds. Resistance is dropping rapidly now. That's a very clear signal. I know, it sounds super simple, right? But these 4 short sentences actually contain a perfect, complete scientific demonstration. It's honestly a masterclass in observation, experimentation, measurement, and conclusion. It might look incredibly brief, but this text perfectly encapsulates the whole shebang, the entire working principle of a light-dependent sensor. We've got our environmental trigger, our subject, the internal physical change, and the final measurable output. So over the next few minutes, we're going to take this apart sentence by sentence, phase by phase, to truly understand the physics happening right before our eyes.
All right, let's start with phase 1, the optimal ambient light. Let's break down our terms using the info directly from our source. Ambient light just refers to the existing light in the surrounding environment. But notice a really key word here. It's noted as being optimal. This means the light hitting our sensor, specifically those little streams of energy packets we call photons, has reached the exact threshold required to actually interact with the materials inside. The observer isn't just saying, oh hey, the sun's out or someone flipped a light switch. By using the word optimal, they're telling us the environment has aligned perfectly to act as the catalyst for our experiment. The starting variable is there, and the physical conditions are absolutely perfect to get things moving. And that brings us to a really critical pivot point. With our optimal conditions established, we have to ask the obvious question. How does the sensor actually respond to this light? In any kind of scientific inquiry, once you have your catalyst, you gotta form a hypothesis or move to observe the reaction. I want you to think actively about this cause and effect relationship for a second. The light is there, the sensor is there, but what is the actual physical mechanism connecting the two? Well, let's move to the next phase to find out.
So here we are at phase 2, testing the sensor's response.
We're basically contrasting 2 very distinct states of this component, our light-dependent resistor, or LDR. On one side, we have the LDR's baseline state. This is when it's just sitting in the dark or in suboptimal light before exposure. Then, on the other side, we have the active testing phase right during that optimal light exposure. When our source says, let's see, that implies a deliberate act of introducing our LDR to the light. We are watching the exact, literal moment the environment interacts with our subject. The conditions have changed, and now we wait for the physical reaction to kick in.
Which leads us directly to phase 3, the rapid resistance drop.
The observer notes, resistance is dropping rapidly now. And guys, this is the beautiful physics of an LDR at work. See, it's made of a high-resistance semiconductor material. When it's in the dark, its electrons are tightly bound to the atoms. They're locked in place, and that creates a really high electrical resistance. It's basically acting like a wall. But when that optimal light finally hits it, the photons transfer their energy to those bound electrons, freeing them up to jump into the conduction band. As more and more electrons get freed by the light, that wall of resistance drops rapidly. It's not some slow creeping shift. The light literally unlocks the flow of electricity. This proves that the sensor is directly 100% dependent on the light to change its fundamental physical state.
And finally, we arrive at phase 4, reading the clear signal.
Let's link all these events together into one unbroken chain. Step 1, optimal ambient light is present. Step 2, the LDR is exposed. Step 3, photons free the electrons and resistance drops rapidly. Step 4, a clear electrical signal is achieved. Because the resistance dropped out of the way, the sensor was able to let a strong, unambiguous signal pass right through. And you know what? This exact chain reaction is happening all around you every single day. It's the clear signal that tells that automatic nightlight in your hallway to turn off when the sun comes up. Or it's what tells the city's street lamps in your neighborhood to turn on when dusk falls. The environmental trigger successfully creates a functional, real-world output. So, to summarize this incredibly elegant reaction, increasing ambient light directly causes decreasing resistance, which in turn creates a clear signal. They are inversely linked, yet they cooperate perfectly. The brighter the light gets, the lower the resistance goes, and the stronger the resulting signal becomes. Think about that for a second. We took 4 short, simple sentences and uncovered a completely logical system of cause and effect, all governed by a simple semiconductor. It's just a fantastic demonstration of how physical properties can be manipulated by simple, everyday environmental changes.
Which leaves us with this final thought. What other clear signals could be generated using this simple environmental trigger? When you realize how an LDR uses light to drop resistance and trigger a reaction, you start to see that our modern world is actually built on these tiny, invisible decisions. From your smartphone screen automatically adjusting its brightness when you walk outside, to agricultural sensors determining exactly when to water crops based on sunlight exposure, where else is this simple science quietly running your life? Keep questioning the mechanics of the world around you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next Explainer.